It's just like that. How is that not something that everybody is like? When I read it, I was like, oh, this is going to be a major thing. We're going to see major changes because of this. No.
I'll tell you, man, helping out coaching soccer, it's crazy that the one sport athlete now, like whatever it is, like, my son's played soccer, but you get out there and like, hey, we need a goalkeeper who can catch. And they all just look at each other like, well, that's not me. I don't know.
I use my feet.
And you have to sit there and work with them, and they literally don't know how to catch a ball. You're trying to teach, like they've never caught a football. You can tell they don't feel the ball on the ground like a shortstop does. Like there's no crossover.
That's wild.
And that's what you don't understand. Like there's so much crossover to sports, right?
Yeah.
So even like you put a tennis player in net. A tennis player in net covers so much ground as a goalie. Like they can cover ground in a crazy way.
Yeah.
But if they've never played any other sport, they can't catch. They can't field a ball on the ground.
Forehanding the ball out.
Yeah, you're like, what is happening? It's very, very strange.
Yeah, man. Don't. I mean, do what you want. Parent how you want. But Dr. Nirav Pandya, a friend of the show who's been on a couple of times, he always talks about the dangers of sports specialization in young people and the repetitive motions, and how there's so much benefit to, if you're a basketball player, to also using the muscles and ligaments and tendons that you need to play baseball or football or soccer, and doing as many things as you can to diversify the motions that your body makes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Anyways, I want to talk about the insane Warriors-Rockets NBA Cup game last night. But before we do that, I watched the new Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie on Netflix.
I have yet to watch it, but
I don't want to do a full breakdown. I'm not going to. There's one thing I'm going to complain about. I want you to watch it, and then we can do a bigger breakdown later, because you and I are both a fan of the cheesy Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'll watch the cheesy Christmas movie. I don't even tell anyone in the house I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm up here watching something.
Yeah, man. It's just, it's comforting. It's nice. I can walk out of the room for a few minutes because I know what's going to happen. Rich person goes back to small town. The attractive person is the person they're going to fall in love with. There's going to be some Christmas shenanigans.
Ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever it might be.
Right. Just the unlikely love is going to be like, it's not, but you're not watching it to be like, wow, what a piece of cinema. Right? It's comforting. It's a holiday movie. Anyways, it's about the vibes. One of the things that happens in this movie involves weed.
Oh,
like THC.
Marijuana is bad and good.
The way they talk about weed in this movie makes it seem like a movie from the 1940s, dude. They're like, the package, it's gummies that are involved in this movie, and the package says infused with THC. That is not what? That's a weird thing to say. And then one of the characters says to one of the other characters, hey, those gummies the gummies you ate were laced with THC. Who says that? You go, hey, bro, those were weed gummies. Like, you just, and here's the other thing. And the portrayal of the weed consumption in it. First of all, let's conservatively say she ate 6 gummies, because spoiler alert, it's Lindsay Lohan's character. Let's conservatively say she ate 6 gummies because she's like, oh, I'm hungry. This is all that's there. She's borrowing someone's jacket. She takes them out of the jacket, doesn't see that there's weed in the gummies, and she's like, I'm just going to eat these. Let's conservatively say she ate 6.
Okay.
And let's conservatively say those are 5 milligram gummies.
Okay.
Given the character that they belong to, I'm guessing they were at minimum 5. So conservatively, we're saying she's ingesting 30 milligrams of THC.
Okay. A
person who, according to how the movie goes, doesn't usually do this. She wouldn't be like, dude, she would know. She's like, she had to have a person tell her like, hey, those were THC laced gummies. You're high right now. Like, you would know. You'd be on Jupiter, dude.
Yeah, that's
You'd
a
be like,
lot.
What's happening to my body?
Yeah.
You would know. And then she goes up and she's like hallucinating. I don't know how that stuff affects other people. I have never once been hallucinating. Not one time have I been like, oh, that statue's talking to me.
THC viewed through the lens of cheesy holiday movie.
Dude, it's insane. I can't wait for you to watch it. It's like a pretty small plot point in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the larger thing, her being high is a pretty small plot point in the movie. The actual act of her. But man, it's like, dude, if I had to public speak, that's what she has to do. She has to public speak while I would be rambling. It's like she's frozen. She doesn't know what to say. I would be rambling for 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, I know it affects everybody differently, but man, I can't wait for you to watch it. And I can't wait to do a full breakdown of what I thought was a really good movie.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, no.
I might watch it again. It's called Our Little Secret. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
Lohan,
I'll
Kristen Chenoweth. Kristen Chenoweth, by the way, Broadway legend.
Yes.
Just an icon. She is the type of character who everything I've ever seen her in, she sucks. And I just viscerally, if she walked in the room right now, I'd be like, ugh.
She was in something that was fun years ago, and I'm drawing a blank on what it was. That's gonna kill me. Something in the Pie Maker. I think. Yeah, there was a TV show that she was sort of like her first time she was on TV after her Broadway stuff.
Hey, Mackie Cheese, which A, great name. B, love the cat profile pic. These shout out to the Chatty House at youtube.com/ESPN 1320. If you think I have not already watched Hot Frosty, you've got another thing coming.
Isn't it like two of the characters from Party of Five though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've looked this up. Yes,
yeah.
I believe so. It's at least one.
It's Lacey and then
Lacey Shabert.
Yeah, something like that. And then Scott Wolf?
Something like that.
Okay. They're not romantically involved, right? Because you can't play brothers and sisters on one television series, even if it was 25 years ago.
I mean, they might be.
And then do a romantic comedy together.
Yeah, they might be. I don't know. Anyways, we got other stuff to get to. We got a lot to get to. We got 49ers Rams to get to. Kings Pelicans tonight. We'll dive into that for you. But last night, the NBA Cup happened. The quarterfinals. The Golden State Warriors lost 91-90 to the Houston Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't score over the final 3 minutes of the game. They led by 6 with 1:20 left. I would like to know, though, what was more wild? Steph Curry's three so Golden State's up 1. Let me paint the picture. Golden State's up 1. They're in the process of smoking the 6-point lead with 1:20 left. Golden State's up 1. Steph comes down with 9 seconds on the shot clock and 11 seconds left in the game. About 12 seconds left in the game. Takes a step back 3 and misses it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a scramble ensues, and they call a loose ball foul on Jonathan Kuminga while everybody's fighting for this loose ball after Gary Payton II had grabbed a rebound, and he threw it to the middle of the floor. Bad pass, scramble, foul call. Jalen Green, it puts the Rockets in the bonus. They hit 2 free throws. Rockets win. An insane sequence.
The entire sequence is wild.
It was the epitome. It's the perfect example of why I have a hard time blaming officials. Because Steve Kerr after the game was apoplectic. Called it unconscionable. You wouldn't see that called in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that called in my life. You can't make that loose ball foul call 80 feet from the basket. Da-da-da-da-da. We're trying to win this cup. And he said something about they robbed us or whatever he said. And I understand. I thought it was a wild ass call. You see the dudes turn into a boxing match when there's a loose ball on the floor. But on the other hand, you didn't score for 3 minutes.
Oh.
And the pass by Gary Payton II into the middle of the floor was terrible. And the Steph shot, I mean, it's Steph Curry taking an open step back 3. Like, you kind of live with that. But the shot, not great. Didn't love the shot selection. They had, I think it was 5 shot clock violations in the game and 3 in the final 4 or 5 minutes. It just, they played horribly down the stretch.
Yeah, they do feel like a team that when it's rolling, this whole using 12 guys and everybody switching in and out. Like, that's fine, but they're also in certain moments you have to have leadership. You have to have somebody who is willing to take all of, and they have that with Steph, but you need more. It can't just be one guy the whole time, because if it's just Steph, the other team knows it's just Steph.
You get a lot easier to defend. Yes.
Yeah. You become very, very simple to defend.
And it's not that if you're the Rockets, and this is why Golden State had a problem holding on to leads last year, and they're having trouble now. Because at the end of games, teams know, all right, yeah, we'll live with Draymond shooting it. We'll live with Brandon Pajemski shooting it. We'll live with Gary Payton II shooting it. Yeah, Jonathan Kuminga wants to huck a three, go for it. Like that's their issue right now. They just don't have that kind of go-to consistent number 2 scorer that defenses have to like respect. And they smoke leads because of it. And that's why, like, yeah, I thought the call wasn't good, but it to be like, oh, they didn't give us a chance to win because of that call. Like, but you did. You had a chance. And you blew it.
It feels like this season there has been a couple of those, though, where typically they let them play out like the last 5 or 6 seconds of a game.
Yeah.
And like, hey, like whatever happens, happens. Like,
it's like pass interference on a Hail Mary. Like, hey, you're just not going to call it.
Yeah, you're not going to call it. Although I do know the Kings lost. Didn't they lose one game very specifically because somebody did not call? I mean, they called something with like 1.6 seconds left. And everyone's just like seriously, you call a touch foul with that much time? And then they had another game that they lost where Colby Jones got fully fouled and they didn't call the foul.
That's Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got hammered at the end of the game.
That was last year, at the end of last season.
Yeah, it was the end of last season. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I was on, I believe I was on my way to England when that happened. I was watching it on my phone on the Airbus thing to SFO.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Humble brag.
Yeah. No, full brag. I got to go to England. So, yeah, Rockets, Warriors out of the NBA Cup. They now host Dallas on Sunday.
Okay.
You know, Joe Lacob's loving that. Like, yeah, Clay coming back again. Let's sell some tickets. So
wild.
The 49ers play tonight. So if you missed it on ABC 10, which is where I was last night, the 49ers need to win tonight.
Do they, Kyle?
Yes. Like, it's not actually like, no, if they lose, I haven't looked at the wild card, but given the log jam in the NFC, I believe, if my math is correct, if they lose, they're out. Completely.
Okay.
They
that
don't
makes
have
sense
a path.
to me.
Because the way they have to do this, the position they've put themselves in going into tonight's game against the Rams, the position they've put themselves in is one where they have to now rely on tiebreakers. Or they likely will have to rely on tiebreakers, because there's a path where they win out and they go 10-7 and nobody else in the NFC West gets to 10-7 and they win the division. That's not happening. The rest of the division isn't going to lose out and the Niners aren't going to win out. So to get realistic, they basically need to shoot for a 4-way tie in the division, because any 3-way tie, they lose the tiebreakers. But when you tack on a 4th team in the tiebreaker, I don't know exactly why. I haven't dove that deep. If there's a 4-way tie at 9-8, the Niners win the division.
Well, that's weird.
Super odd. It has to do because it goes head-to-head record, but then it goes to division record, and then record in common games, and then conference record.
It's got to be the common games.
Yeah,
record.
It must be.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, so...
Oh, that's wild.
I didn't dig that deep. I just know they need to win tonight.
I'm here for like a 4-way tie of like ineptitude.
But then again, I don't know that I want to watch the 49ers go get smoked in a playoff game.
Yeah.
Win the 4th seed and get housed at home by the Vikings? No, thanks. I was talking to Biederman about this. Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee, host of the Candlestick Chronicles podcast with him. We were talking about that, and he's like, I wouldn't mind facing Sam Darnold at home in the playoffs. Like, this team kicked your ass.
Yeah, dominated you.
They're awesome.
This season.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, comparatively. Yeah, that's
whatever version of the 49ers going into the playoffs. I don't. Yeah, it's not their year. It's okay. And frankly, just looking at tonight's game, I don't think they're going to win tonight.
Oh?
Yeah, man. The Rams are playing really well. The Rams just hung 44 points on the Bills.
That's crazy.
Granted, they got 42 hung on them, but
yeah.
I don't. I can't undo the first 13 weeks from my mind because they played well against the Bears. I can't get there where I look at the first 13 weeks and I'm like, man, even a couple of their wins were dicey. Like, yeah, you can talk yourself into they should have been, 4 games better than they were. There were 3 games they lost they should have had or whatever, but there were also some games they won that they could have punted or choked. So I think they're pretty mid. They're 6-7. And I think a better indicator of what they are this year is what they were through the first 13 weeks. And then last week to me was an outlier. It was the Bears having a new head coach, and it was the 49ers just being more talented of 2 teams that didn't really have a ton to play for. And the 49ers played with urgency, the Bears didn't, and the Niners kicked the hell out of them.
So you don't buy into the Brock Purdy locker room speech being like,
No, I don't. I don't buy into that.
I'm here for it because, not for the speech itself. I'm here for, to see if they can run the table here and make it fun and interesting.
Sure,
because they haven't been fun and interesting all season long, and it's like sometimes the team does click in weird times, and sometimes they click when it's too far gone. Wasn't it like I know it was way before your time, Kyle?
Okay,
but I remember a season when Steve Bono took over and just rambled, and they were bad, and they made it all the way to the last game of the season. They win, and I believe they were like one of the best teams in football at that point, but they missed out on the playoffs in tiebreakers, but at like 10-6. And they had rallied all the way back in a season. And so there are times where a team can find itself, and again, you're going to have some players coming back. You're going to have some intrigue to this game at least. And I don't think the Rams are that good. I know coming into the season, a lot of people thought the Rams were like a very good team, but to be honest with you, they have the same exact record or a game better than the San Francisco 49ers. And that tells me that they're not very good either. And sure, they've had a couple of good games here and there, but they've also had some games where you're just like, oh my gosh.
So that's interesting because the Rams had all of their injury stuff was early in the year. They had no Puka Nacua early. They had no Cooper Kupp early. They were dealing with a bunch of injury stuff. They're also figuring out their defense. It's a bunch of young players. They're in the midst of the Rams this year are what I think the Niners might be next year.
Okay.
Where it's a lot of question marks on the roster. And when the stars are stars, they're a tough team, but kind of game in and game out, you don't love their chances to go win a title. But I can't. Week 14, that win over the Bears, to me, felt like look, we've still got this in our bag. We're good. We just needed to prove to ourselves that we can do that. Okay, we're good now. Okay. That's what it came across to me. But maybe they're looking at the Rams and they go, all right, now's our real chance to get back into this thing. And I don't.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams are 6-2 over their last 4 games, right? Over their last 8 games. They're 6-2. They did start, the season 1-4, and that's Puka missed all 5 of those games, and Cooper Kupp missed 4 of them. But everyone's dealing with injuries. I mean, you could look at those games right there in the first 5 weeks of the season. The Niners ended up losing. They had Debo miss a game. They had Kittle miss a game. They had Ayuk go down with the season-ending injury, and Christian McCaffrey didn't play any of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody has to play through it, and they didn't do a good job of playing through it earlier. They are rolling now at this point, but I still look. I think this is a beatable team, and I think the 49ers are still have the pieces of a very good team. It depends on 1 week to the next whether they're going to step up.
Yeah, if they play with the urgency they played with last week, great. Awesome. Love to see it. Adam Schefter reported this morning it looks like Isaac Guerendo is going to play. He had a foot sprain. He was a limited practice participant yesterday and was questionable. Sounds like Dre Greenlaw is going to come back, although I don't know how much he's going to play.
Oh.
Like, I imagine he'll be, so with their linebackers, there's the Mike, which is Fred Warner. Then there's the Will that's on the field all the time. And then there's the Sam, who's only on the field in their base defense. So when they go to nickel, which is the primary defense they play in, the Sam comes off the field. My guess is that's a role Greenlaw will play.
Okay.
Where he's on the field for 12 or 14 snaps or whatever they wind up being.
Okay.
But maybe there's that emotional lift. Maybe they feel the sense of urgency. Maybe the reminder against the Bears that they can still go be a dominant team is enough to go out and get a division game against the Rams.
Do we have any word on Bosa?
Not that I've seen. He returned to practice. He was limited yesterday and is questionable. I kind of wonder if they're seeing how far they can get without bringing him back, or they have a like, hey, if we get to this point, then we'll bring him back. And if we get to that point, we're shutting him down.
Okay.
And maybe it's this week. Maybe this is the one where they go, hey, we want to push it. He's ready. We don't think he's going to damage himself where he can't participate throughout the offseason. That because they have to weigh that too.
No, totally.
We'll go through the playoff scenarios here in a bit, but like I think it's there's a push-pull with the coaching staff and the organization wants to win every game this year. Their goal as they prepare for each week and these players go put their bodies and lives on the line to win every single game. And I think they're going to try and do that.
Okay.
But on the other hand, you have to at least a little bit have an eye toward 2025 here. And you go, all right, if this guy plays, is he going to damage himself where he's also going to be impacted next year?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a tough spot. I kind of wonder if Bosa maybe doesn't play this week. And if the Niners get a win this week, where they then get the mini bye, they get the extra days off, they get to 7-7, and they have that huge game coming up in Miami, and then they come home to face the Lions. I kind of wonder if the extra days off is where they go, okay, let's see if we can really get this right and see if they can get Bosa back in. And Trent Williams too, maybe.
Yeah.
But none of it matters if you lose tonight.
No. And that's where it's like, okay, if these guys are playing, this would be a game that they'd play in. That's what it feels like. And so.
That's and if they do, if those guys suit up. So the fact Garendo is suiting up, the fact that Greenlaw is suiting up, I think there's something for Greenlaw too that goes a little bit beyond the urgency of trying to make the playoffs. He's a free agent.
Yeah, he needs to reestablish that he can play.
Yeah, he needs to put tape out that he's good to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the motivation to get him out there. But if Bosa's playing, to me, that's where the collective urgency in the locker room is where it needs to be. And maybe you just go lose. But interested to see how they respond.
Yeah, me too. And I also like watching their defensive line last week play really well and really get to the quarterback, 7 sacks total. Look, okay, add Bosa to that mix and maybe Stafford's running for his life half the night.
Yeah, maybe it's interesting then.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Can't wait. We'll dive further into that game. We'll have playoff scenarios for you and NFL draft scenarios. Why not? If we're going to keep an eye toward 2025, we'll sprinkle that in as well. We'll talk, speaking of the draft, we'll talk some Raiders too.
Oh.
A chance it's the number 1 overall pick.
Oh.
Could be a big year.
Yeah.
Could be a big year for our guys out in Vegas. But before we do that, we got to get into this Kings-Pelicans game tonight. If you're familiar with the Kings at all, you know that the Pelicans were the boogeyman last year. But I don't think that's going to be the case again this year. We'll talk about it next. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. Tons to get into before noon here on The Insiders. We're sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and it's ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Clear.
Yeah, Brian, I would say the problem that you have with this idea is that Greenlaw might not be back. There's a good chance he won't be back. I think
who was that, Brian?
Yeah, Brian, the
garden
guy.
Shoot.
Yeah.
Shout out. I think if Dre Greenlaw was not a free agent, I think that's what they would do. I think they would have opened his 21-day practice window in the final 3 weeks so he could get out there, practice, and then they have him for next year. And he might resign, but I think if you're him, you want to put some tape out. It's like, yeah, I can still play. Obviously, his market's going to be depressed, but
yeah,
fingers crossed for him, man. He's been an awesome player.
I did see a little bit of like I see people mentioning LeBron to the Kings. I don't know who wrote the initial thing on that, but that's just like really, really complicated. And I can't imagine that LeBron James would want to finish his NBA career playing for the Sacramento Kings. And that's not being disrespectful to like the Kings. I'm just like, you're LeBron James.
Dr. Harry Edwards named San Francisco 49ers 2024 Inspire Change Maker. Shout out to Dr. Harry Edwards, man. I went to go get him on the radio one time, and I sent him a text. And, just the normal producer text.
Yep.
Hey, Dr. Edwards, Kyle at 95.7 The Game, da-da-da. No response. This dude calls me like 45 minutes later. That's so intimidating. When this dude calls and is like, what do you want? So what he said. He said, I got your text. What time? He was a really nice guy.
Oh, nice.
It was so intimidating. Like, oh, God.
He's calling. Did I do something wrong?
If this guy doesn't like me, I'm done. Don't
text me anymore.
Yeah,
like,
right. That's what I was kind of worried about.
I thought he had, I thought he was ill. No?
He might be.
We did not get into the Randy Moss stuff yesterday. That got weird.
Yeah, I don't. I think I've told the Pete Rose story too. That's what Pete Rose did.
Oh, that's right. You did.
Text him twice and then he calls.
Yeah.
RIP.
Look at my phone and it says Pete Rose calling.
Dude, just like
wild.
Sure, man.
Had a couple of those where you're with people and you're like, oh, shoot, I got to take this. And they're like, who is it? And you just flash your phone. They're like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I got to go. I'll be right back.
Shout out to Dutch Bros, dude. The Dutch Bros cold brew.
I haven't, it's usually super sweet. Like everything they make is sweet. So I don't.
That's why I like their cold brew.
Okay. That's why I avoid it, kind of.
What's what it used to be like, oh, if I want a milkshake, I'll run to Dutch.
Yeah.
But then I learned they have cold brew that's fantastic.
Okay.
Little cold brew, little oat milk.
I was making espresso martinis this weekend. Good stuff, using a cold brew.
Get out of town. What? This true?
Yeah.
No way.
Actually, I have a buddy who was in the original commercial and got cut.
Oof.
He was under the floor, fixing pipes, and looks up like, hey, the game stopped. And then they cut that part. So he would have been in the iconic commercial.
Oh, hey, we're back. James Ham there. I'm Kyle Madsen. Jiffy Lube sponsors the program, and your Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight against the New Orleans Pelicans. The Kings enter the game at 12-13. The Pelicans, well, they started 3-3 this season.
Ooh.
They're now 5-20.
Ooh.
It's so funny. The juxtaposition, good fade. The juxtaposition between the way we talk about the Kings struggling.
Yeah.
And the way the Pelicans are struggling.
They're like 2 for their last.
2-17 in their last 19.
Oh.
We're like, oh no, the Kings lost 3 in a row. And you got the Pelicans who have started 3-3.
Oh,
And are now 5-20. Like, we think the Kings injury stuff was bad.
yeah. I mean, that's anytime you want to talk injuries when it comes to the Kings, and like, they lost Malik Monk for 2 games? No. It was more than that. 5, 6, 7 games with the ankle injury. You lost DeMar DeRozan for 3 games, and then he missed another 2 right afterwards. You lost Domantas Sabonis for 2 games with the back stuff. And then you have the Pelicans, who already have lost 87 games to injury. I don't even know what the number is, but it's extreme. I just,
it's a lot, and it's all of their good players.
Yeah,
it's not a bunch of randos. It's DeJounte Murray's finally back. But let's just jump into the injury report, because that's a key aspect of talking about the Pelicans. Jose Alvarado out, Jordan Hawkins out, Brandon Ingram out, Carlo Matkovic out, Zion Williamson out, Javonte Green questionable.
Oh, well, at least they have Javonte Green.
But DeJounte Murray's missed time.
He missed most of the season with a broken hand.
Yeah, missed a lot of time. Herb Jones was out for a while. Trey Murphy was out for a while.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. DeJounte Murray's played 8 games. Herb Jones has played 7 games. All of their players. McCollum has played 12. Trey Murphy's played 12. And this is out of 25 games. Everyone on their team has missed so many games. They have players already who are ineligible for postseason awards. Zion Williamson, nope, ineligible already. He's played 6 games. Herb Jones, ineligible. DeJounte Murray, I think DeJounte Murray is right. If he played every game the rest of the season, that would be 17. He could still make an All-NBA team or whatever.
This is why I think those rules suck.
Yeah.
Herb Jones was diving for a loose ball and got landed on, and his shoulder got hurt. He was playing hard and got injured. And now let's say, I don't know how many he's on pace for, but let's say he plays 64 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he's the best defender in the league. He just lights out, is incredible the rest of the way. And they go, nope, not all defense, 64 games.
Yeah, he is, as of right now, he is ineligible for all defensive team this season.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
I hate that rule. I thought I liked that rule. I don't like that rule anymore. There's got to be some give and take. If you got hurt because you were diving for a loose ball, all right.
There has to be some sort of review process, it feels like.
Yeah, or if yeah.
Hey, can we appeal? He played 62 games, or as long as it's within some window or something. But I get the sentiment. The idea is that you're tired of players missing games.
Yes.
If you're the league.
Yeah.
And you're tired of teams sitting out really good players on a Tuesday night TNT game.
Sure.
And
I get it.
Yeah, you've had enough of it, right? Mm-hmm. And so you have to put some sort of, and first you tried to find the teams, and you're still finding the teams, but then you got to a point where it's okay, well, that doesn't really work, because the teams aren't, they don't really have a say all the time in whether a player plays or not. So let's put it on the players. And so I get that. Mm-hmm. And I do think it is forcing players to play more. But here we are in a situation where an entire team is decimated, and they're already, most of them are out of the running for any postseason award.
The NBA is not going to change its 65-game rule, so let's just talk about the Pelicans.
All right,
they are a mess.
They are.
In fact, I kind of like their starting 5.
Yes.
I don't hate what their starting 5 has become. Is interesting. It's what comes after that with all their injury stuff that becomes a little bit of a problem. But their starting 5 tonight, this is my guess. DeJounte Murray, mm-hmm. CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and Yves Missi, who is super fun.
I like Yves.
Big Yves Missi guy.
He's out of Brussels. He's a Belgian big man.
Love it.
6'11", 235. And if you can go watch videos of him trying to dunk when he's young, on an old wooden hoop outside, and then him he would do reels where he was dribbling drills and stuff as a young kid, and it's just a good story. I mean, he's good.
I hate that players are the age where they were making reels when they were young.
Oh, yeah.
They're flying around. TikTok to me has been around for 8 months. I know that's not true. But the fact that this 20-year-old grew up making TikToks, like, oh no.
He was born in 2004. Yeah. Oh, but he's fun.
Don't need to do all that.
He's
a good
going to
player.
give the Kings some fits tonight.
Another play. We talked about the Rockets a lot yesterday. Yves Missi, 21st pick.
Oh, yeah.
God, go find one of these guys. Monty, go find a dude like this.
Yeah.
6'11", 235. He's averaging 9 points, 8 boards, almost a block and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Shooting 54% from the field. Doesn't shoot threes, but that's fine. He can block shots. Grab some rebounds.
Oh, he's fun. When he's rolling to the hoop, it's a lot of Neemias Queta rolling to the hoop.
Yeah.
It's just a big, big body. And you're like, oh, that broad shoulders, big wingspan.
Good athlete, too.
Yeah, he's super fun. I'm here for it.
The problem with the Pelicans is, well, Daniel Tice, we didn't mention him on the injury report. He's not with the team. He hasn't been with the team.
Yeah, they're a mess.
Brandon Boston Jr., Jeremiah Robinson Earl, Jamal Cain, Antonio Reeves, and Trey Jemison. Those were the players that came off the bench for them in their last game against the Spurs.
At least two of those names you made up.
It feels like it. Brandon Boston Jr. I've heard of.
Oh, no, yeah.
Clippers legend.
Yeah, he got waived right before the season and was picked up.
Those other 4 dudes, literally never heard of them.
Let's see.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl. Got anything for me there?
Yeah, he was a OKC legend, right?
Sure.
Robinson Earl.
Sure. Jamal Cain.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Antonio Reeves.
No, you're just making up names.
No relation to Austin.
No, you're just making up names.
Trey Jemison. Trey Jemison sounds like the name of a person in a cheesy Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Lindsay Lohan's love interest.
I'm Trey Jemison from Elkhorn, Montana. We do a Christmas celebration every year in this here town. Just glad you're here to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Kane.
This is pretty incredible. Jemison is 6'11", 260-pound center.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
He's
played
not
3.5 minutes against the Spurs.
25 years old. He's bounced around. This is his third NBA team.
All of this is to say the Pelicans have way less teeth than they did last year.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't go into this game, and I know that there's going to be some PTSD or some fear that, like, oh man, New Orleans, they beat the Kings 6 times last year. These are not your Pelicans of yesteryear. This is a beat up, bad basketball team, with all due respect to their starting 5.
No, they are. They are not good, and they are not the team. Like the key to their success over the Kings last season was their length, athleticism, and physicality.
Mm-hmm.
All of that is gone. Like there's Jonas Valanciunas is not in the middle anymore. Zion Williamson, Zion Williamson is once again missing half the season or more. Like all of that physicality that they had, and then the length and athleticism of Brandon Ingram, gone. Now, Trey Murphy's a very good player.
Great player.
You're going to have to figure out how to defend him. You'll throw Keegan Murray on him, I'm assuming. But the rest of it, like, okay, it's not something that you should, you should fear them because you've lost to bad teams all season.
Mm-hmm.
But this is your chance to get back to 500. It's your chance to climb up in the standings, to get right there where you can actually start seeing the play-in tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there for you. So if you can't win this game with what happened last year where you went 0-6 against this team, then, like, okay, break it up.
If you can't beat the Pelicans now, I
give up.
That'd be tough.
It would be tough.
That'd be a bad. No, their starting 5 is good, and De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Keegan Murray, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis are gonna. That's a good starting 5.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a rare game where you look at the Kings bench and you look at their opponent's bench and you go, yeah, the Kings should outplay these dudes. Kings should outplay these dudes for 48 minutes.
Somewhere in New Orleans, someone's saying, man, who's this Isaac Jones guy? I've never even heard of that guy.
Oh, you're making up names.
Now you're just making up names.
Kevin Huerter, he looks like a guy from a Christmas movie.
That's right. He does look like a guy
He
from a
does.
Christmas
He's
movie.
Trey Jemison
Yes.
from Elkhorn, Montana. All right. That's James. I'm Kyle. I'll have some keys to a Kings victory coming up for you in a bit. Got to snap that losing skid to the Pelicans. Can't go over against New Orleans again this year. In fact, sweeping them back would be some nice little payback. And we'll have some keys to victory for you coming up right here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Speaking of injuries, the fact that Isaac Arendo's playing tonight for the 49ers is great.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Dre Greenlaw appears to be making his return, that's great. Nick Bosa is questionable. Okay. Like there's optimism on the injury front for the first time in what feels like all year. In fact, for the first time all year. Because the Niners injury problems go back to freaking training camp. They canceled joint practices with the Saints because they didn't have enough players to do a joint practice. But while the injury optimism is nice from a just players being healthy standpoint, just on the human level, like they want to play football and you hope they get to do that. Isaac Arendo playing and Nick Bosa potentially playing, Dre Greenlaw potentially playing. None of that factors in a lot to whether I think the 49ers can win or will win. I like their chances a little better, but everything with the 49ers comes down to, and you and I have talked about this before, but to me, the 49ers problems stem more from penalties, bad special teams plays, turnovers. Their problems run so much deeper than like, oh, well, that player was out. Like, of course, it doesn't help. Like it makes the game harder for sure. But you see how they looked against the Bears with no Trent Williams, no Nick Bosa, no Christian McCaffrey. Isaac Arendo got hurt early in that one. It's like, oh, like it can be done. They can play well under these circumstances. So that's the bigger deal to me. Can you go out and have another turnover-free game? Can you go out and have another game where your special teams aren't a disaster? Can you go out and have another game where you're not committing back-breaking penalties and getting into second and third and long all game? That matters to me so much more than whether Dre Greenlaw plays or whether Isaac Arendo plays.
I totally agree. The discipline of the 49ers has been one of the most glaring issues this entire season. How many long pass plays, run plays have they had called back because of a stupid penalty?
So it's not 50, but it feels like 50.
Yeah, it also feels like every single time that you're fielding a punt, you should just fair catch it because you're going to back up 10 yards no matter what. One dude is going to hold every single time. And so it really feels like this team, the lack of discipline is as big of an issue as anything else they have going on this entire season. And sometimes that's, again, that can be a coaching issue. It can just be guys like losing their mind in the middle of a game and making a mistake, but it's everybody. I mean, Kyle Juszczyk has been called for like horrendous calls. Yeah. And like so many of these guys have been called for just like, man, you can't do that to your team. They're such back-breaking plays. You have momentum and they take away your momentum so many times. So I would like a clean game. Like if you can have a clean game where you don't make a bunch of mistakes, where you're locked in 100% and it's just like, this is who we are. This is how we play. And if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us because you have more talent than us. That's fine. I just don't feel like so many of the games this year, even early in the season when they blew those fourth quarter leads, it was always hinging on one horrific bad play, a penalty, a fumble on special teams. It was always one moment that turned the tide in a game, and they weren't able to recapture the momentum of the game and lost.
It was the Vikings outplayed them. They got outplayed by the Vikings,
of course.
But when you go to the Rams game, you look at the end of that game and you go, man, the Niners shot themselves in the foot a bunch. Cardinals game, same deal. Seahawks lost, same deal. Like I didn't walk out of any of those games going, wow, those teams were just better. The Vikings game, I felt that way. The Chiefs game, I felt that way. Obviously, the Packers and the Bills. But those three division games, man, it was like, dude, if you cut down the mistakes, you're 2 games up in the division right now with 4 to go. And that's even with all the injury stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why like I people reach out for editors from the wire sites will reach out or I'll do a radio hit in a different market and they go, God, these injuries, like no wonder they're 6 and 7. Like, yeah, but it's not
just that.
It's not just that, man. Like,
No.
they just kind of stunk all around, like having nothing to do with. It's not poor performance from their backups.
Yeah.
They just, like you said, Kyle Juszczyk, Ricky Pearsall had a holding call last week. They called back a touchdown.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel's had multiple plays this year where a holding call on him is taking away a touchdown or a big play.
Yeah.
You mentioned all the special teams ones.
Really, really tough.
So
just
bad.
These little mistakes. And like, look, if you compare the Kings early part of the season to the 49ers season, it's very similar. There is just no momentum. Like you win one, you lose one. You lose 2, you win 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no full-fledged momentum where you get a 3 or 4 game win streak and you start to feel like, okay, we're on the right path. Go ahead.
And you get yourself clear of one loss doesn't feel like the end of the world.
Yes.
If the Kings were to win 5 in a row and then lose one to Toronto, it's like, all right, don't love that. But it's when you start, okay, you win one, but then, man, you lose to the Hawks and then you lose to the Nets. It's like, dudes, figure it out. But the Kings, again, have 57 more games. In the NFL, you don't get that luxury.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference. Your quarter of the season is 4 games. It's not 20.
Yeah.
So, you have an opportunity to have really good stretches. But saying that, the 49ers have never been able to capture that moment still.
Yeah.
There isn't a 4-game win streak that you can like hang your hat on and say, okay, that's where we got right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still waiting from the Kings, and they have so much time to do it. Even right now, they won 3 out of 4. You win tonight, which you should win tonight.
You have to win.
That's 3 in a row. Now you're starting to feel the momentum again.
You're back to 500.
You're back to 500. Now, you don't want to lose that Denver game. That Denver game is a coin flip game, but you put yourself in a situation where you have to win coin flip games.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the Lakers twice. You got to beat the Lakers twice in a row.
Yep.
Then you get the Pacers. Pacers aren't very good.
Pacers not a good team.
You need to run over that Pacers team. And then you get the Pistons. And then you get the Lakers again. Next thing you know, we could be looking at a stretch where the Kings go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could win 9 in a row, or they could win 8 out of 9.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I ain't going to Lucy Kings fans here. Like, I'm not going to put the ball out there and say, hey, this is going to happen. And then you get all excited, and next thing you know,
it's impossible to go, oh, this is going to happen, because we looked at the stretch where it was Clippers, Nets, Thunder, Timberwolves, Blazers, Spurs, Rockets, Grizzlies, Spurs, Jazz. And man, you can stack a ton of wins in there. And then you lose to the Hawks, and you lose to the Clippers, and you lose to the Nets, and you get smoked by the Thunder. Okay, you beat the Timberwolves. Oh, nope, lost to the Blazers, lost again to the Spurs. Oh, hey, beat the Rockets.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, lose to the Grizzlies. Like, dude, I think you're right. When with the 49ers, they have 4 games left. There's not a lot of...
They win all 4, and you have some momentum going into the offseason still, probably.
Right. You win all 4, you still might not make the playoffs.
Yep.
Like, that's where they're at. With Sacramento, though, when you look at tonight's game, that is I'm calling it a must-win from a continue this dominance over bad teams.
From a culture, from a momentum standpoint, it's a must-win.
Yes.
I would agree with you.
Absolutely.
And just for like what they did to you last year.
Yeah. And frankly, maybe this is too soon for this, but I would like to see the Kings steamroll them. You go win 106-105, it's going to feel a little lackluster to me.
Oh no, totally.
And maybe I'm nitpicking too early. And maybe it's just, it's about stacking wins, but like, no, you beat the hell out of a shorthanded Spurs team. That was great. That's what you want to see. You beat the hell out of the Jazz. That's great. That's what you want to see. Now go beat the hell out of the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Let's start making this a consistent thing.
Go put up 140 again. Like, that's what you should be doing against a team like this.
Mm-hmm. Or at least approaching it.
Yeah. You should at least, like, in the 130s. Like, this is a game where if you're that team, you need to like just put your foot down and hit the gas. Like this is they're
Not
like,
asking for a lot.
No, I mean, at this point though, like you've lost all of that, like any, I don't know, leeway that you have. You still, I mean, there's still a ton of games, but whatever it is that you want fans to like give you a break a little bit. No, you already lost that. There's already too many games. I mean, there's 6 games a season they should have won that they didn't
minimum
against bad teams. Like, come on.
Yeah.
We're at a point where it's like, are you a good team or are you not? Can you get to 500? You see 500 sitting there. Can you get there? And once you get there, can you build some momentum and climb up the standings? Again, you have an opportunity, but by the end of December, you easily could be a 4 or 5 seed in the Western Conference.
I don't even mind. Yeah, I don't even mind losing the Nuggets game. Go ahead and split these next 2. But then it's the Lakers twice. Lakers are not playing well.
No.
LeBron James is starting to look 40. Like it is becoming a problem for Los Angeles.
Yes.
You got to win both of those. Then it's the Pacers, which you mentioned, bad team. Detroit, bad team. You get the Lakers again, bad team. That's the stretch. I don't even mind the Denver game. I don't even need the Denver game. But all of these not good teams are playing. I need all those.
Okay.
I
point out Denver is 12-10 on the season. They're not good either. But
if you lose, I'm not holding a loss to Denver against them the way I would hold against them a loss to,
the Pelicans.
New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah, no. Yeah, even Indiana is
Denver,
10-15 on the season. Oof. Yeah.
Are they behind my Pistons?
They are not. The Pistons no, they're tied 10-15. Yeah, Chicago. Boy, look at this murder's road. The Nets are 10-14. We got the Pacers at 10-15. The Bulls at 10-15. The Pistons at 10-15.
Yuck.
Oh yeah, it's not the Eastern Conference is ugly.
Gross.
But in the West, man, again, 14-10 is the Warriors and the 5th seed. Like the Kings are right there. If they can build some momentum, run through some of these teams, they have an opportunity to get right back in the chase.
Absolutely. Speaking of the Pistons, I kind of wonder if they're going to have a fire sale the way the Nets do.
Well,
or if they're too like into the whatever culture they're building, which is fine. I don't blame them.
I think the Pistons are a team that went out and selected specific people in free agency that they could try to pump up their value and then trade them at the deadline.
I know.
So I would be surprised if we don't see like Tobias Harris, shopped hard. I would be surprised if Malik Beasley.
Tobias Harris got a bag again, though.
Man, Tobias Harris made so much money in his
career. Is someone going to trade for Tobias Harris?
Well, I mean,
would you take Tobias Harris on the Kings?
Not at $25 million and $26 million next year. Oh, maybe. I don't know. I would prefer him to John Collins or to, even at this point, I would prefer him over Kyle Kuzma at this point, because at least I know the guy has won some games and, knows what it's like to be in the playoffs. And, I don't know.
That's an interesting one.
Tobias is he is who he is. And if you're okay with that, there are going to be nights where he's really good. He's really, really similar to Harrison Barnes. And his career earnings
he's a little more aggressive.
Very, very similar to Harrison Barnes.
No, he's got to make way more money than Harrison Barnes. We gotta step aside. We'll dive into this. Tobias Harris, future Sacramento King. We'll talk about it next on the Insiders. It's ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Center.
Tobias Harris will, when this 2 years is up, he will crest the 300 million mark.
Yeah,
in career earnings. Close to that. He's closer than you think.
Really?
Yeah. Remember, he came in the league as like a 19-year-old. Okay, so Harrison Barnes will break 200 million this year. You're right. So he'll be at 220 at the end of his contract. Harrison will. That's still a
Tobias
lot
Harris-
of
I feel
money.
like Tobias Harris has gotten like 3 insane contracts
Yeah.
where the collective response is what?
What's happening, everybody? Hey, I wish the Kings could get Herb Jones. I just don't see a reason why they would trade Herb Jones. If I'm the Kings and Herb Jones is available, and let's say the price of Dorian Finney-Smith is matching contracts and, like 2 seconds. And Herb Jones is like matching contracts, a first, lottery protected first, and a future second as well. I'm taking the Herb Jones deal. He's so much younger and like really does do a lot of the same stuff. But I don't think that that's going to be a possibility. I would be knocking though. Oh man, yeah. Sorry, Philip A. You don't know if you should play Purdy or Darnold, and you need Faraz. Send Faraz a DM. Yeah, Shoeless 99. Herb might be 2 firsts in contract filler, but I don't know. Well, what did the Bulls get for Caruso? Oh, they gave up Giddey.
And that's it.
It was, yeah, Giddey straight up. And Herb Jones is younger.
I can't believe that they got Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey. Like, the story of their playoffs last year was that Josh Giddey couldn't contribute.
Mm-hmm.
And then they trade him for Alex freaking Caruso.
I get it though, because I mean, Giddey, we can dislike Giddey, but he's a 6'8" point guard.
Sure.
And he's 22. So if you can work on with Giddey and develop some of his other skills, he's a guy who averages 6.9 rebound. 6.9 assists, 6.2 rebounds. I don't hate Giddey the player. I'm leery on Giddey the person, but if you could clean up his 3-point shooting, he's got good court vision. I don't know. He played 80 and 76 games in back-to-back seasons. He's played every game this season. Yeah, Giddey's not a great shooter. I get that, but like that's something you can develop with a player. And Giddey shot, like, before this season, 47.5% from the field and 48.2. He's just not a good 3-point shooter. And in today's NBA, that's kind of a problem. Oh, no. Josh Giddey's nicknames?
Yeah, no.
Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet, that's what I meant. Oh, my gosh. That's funny. His positions are listed as shooting guard, point guard, power forward, and small forward. Oh, Shoeless, I would take Giddey over Pods any day of the week.
Ooh.
Nah, that's, to me, that is not even close.
That's my inclination. Oh, hey, we're coming back. Hour number 2. That's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. We're rocking with you until noon. Then we'll hand it off to D-Lo and KC. Yeah, we were just talking at the break. If you want to hang out with us during the breaks, you can at youtube.com/ESPN1320 and twitch.tv/ESPN1320. We appreciate everybody driving around Sacramento and the greater Sacramento area listening to us on ESPN 1320 AM. Maybe you're listening on the free Odyssey app, or maybe you're a podcast listener.
And Kyle, while you're driving around, go to Jiffy Lube.
Stop at Jiffy Lube.
Stop at Jiffy Lube. Get your tires rotated. Have them check your headlights and your battery and all that stuff. Windshield wipers. Download your $33 off coupon.
Oh yeah,
JiffyLube.com.
Do that.
There it is.
All right, party on. Somebody asked at the break, would you rather have? I forget how we got on the Josh Giddey topic.
We got there because we were talking about Herb Jones. And
why they wouldn't trade Herb Jones.
That made us think of what they got for Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso, of course, was traded for Josh Giddey.
Right.
Josh Giddey is now a small forward, power forward, point guard, and shooting guard for the Chicago Bulls with ridiculous nicknames.
So somebody asked if you'd rather have Josh Giddey or Brandon Podziemski.
Yeah.
And Podziemski was a good player last year. He's on the all-rookie team and all that jazz. But the ceiling with Giddey is just so much higher. Like, I think Pods is just kind of the player he's going to be. Like, he just I think we've seen it for the most part.
Yeah.
He'll get better just by virtue of being in the NBA, but I don't know that he doesn't play above the rim. He's not a great shooter. He's just like a solid player. I think he's going to have a long career, but Josh Giddey has a chance to be like an all-star.
Yeah, I totally agree. Josh Giddey, I mean, I don't know if he will ever reach all-star status because of his shooting issues. Yeah. But we're talking about a 6'8" point guard that rebounds really well.
Yeah, the ceiling is super high.
6.9 assists, 6.2 rebounds per game. Like, this is a very capable player. The problem he has is he shoots like 31% from three. If you can clean that up, like I think he could be a very, very good, solid NBA player at, a starter for a decade in the league.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same about Podziemski. And, again, Podziemski right now, he's shooting 24.7% from three. He's shooting 38% from the field.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
Yeah, there's not.
Dude, he's not here. Here's the deal. If he's not shooting, he's not an NBA player. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
He's not, he doesn't, his go-to skill is like hustle. And he has a really good like basketball IQ. But if you're not shooting it and you're not being elite at something, I don't.
Yeah, not to be like horribly disrespectful to Podziemski, because I think he does have the ability. The player he is right now, like if Colby Jones was getting 24.9 minutes per game, I don't think the stats would look all that different between him and what we're seeing from Podziemski right now.
He's regressed a lot.
Yeah, he was
a better player last year for sure.
He was.
We were talking about Tobias Harris before the break. I'm so fascinated by Tobias Harris because he's an all, like we had the all theory team, right? Who are the players? Yeah, in theory, that's a good. Zion Williamson, in theory, is a really good player, but he just can't stay on the court. Tobias Harris fits that for me. Where in theory, Tobias Harris he's big. He's like 6'8", good defender, can score it. But then you go watch Tobias Harris over the course of a playoff series, and you just walk away underwhelmed.
Yeah,
he's just insanely underwhelming. And so when you talk about him in the context of the Kings, because we got there, we're talking about the Nets and doing a fire sale. With the Pistons, did the same thing. It looked like they strategically signed some vets that they could trade for assets at this year's deadline. You go, all right, well, Tim Hardaway Jr., not that dude. I don't know that they want to trade Isaiah Stewart. I don't think they're trading Jalen Duren. So, who's the other guy? Paul Reed is on their roster.
Oh, Malik Beasley.
Malik Beasley's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But for the Kings, it's like, man, Tobias Harris would fit. Like, they need another wing.
Yeah, I mean,
at 20, what is he at? 25 million this year?
25 and a half and 26 and a half, something like that over the next 2 years. Yeah, I would say no.
I think I'd take him over Kyle Kuzma, though.
Probably, like the shorter term deal. And because what, like Tobias Harris is, like, he's carved out a really good career. He's a very consistent player.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be underwhelmed by what he, basically by his.
Yeah, he's not
what he does
bad.
overall.
The ceiling, it feels like he fell short of his ceiling as a player.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good rebounder.
Mhm.
He's a player that's just below all-star level for
Yeah.
most of his career, though. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, for his career, he averages 16.2 points and 6.2 rebounds. Like,
Mhm.
he's not a passer. Like, there are things that he doesn't do that like can annoy you, but
Mhm.
like if you need a bucket, like this, especially
I also
mid-range.
watched him play really good defense against Jalen Brunson in the playoffs last year. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just not going out there and chasing Tobias Harris really all that hard. I'm not giving up major assets for him.
No.
Salary matching is fine, but I'm not giving up assets for him, especially at 32 years old.
And we also don't know if the Pistons are interested in trading any of these dudes.
No, it's very possible they aren't. Now, Isaiah Stewart is not playing a ton for them.
Dude,
I would take
I'd be
some beef
so
stew.
happy with beef stew.
Yeah. That's one of those players that we talked about early, coming into this season. Go get one of these guys. Talking about a guy, last year shot 38.3% from three and 11 points, 6.6 rebounds,
And he's a dog.
31 minutes a game. Yeah, I like.
You can play him next to Domantas Sabonis. You can play him as your backup 5.
Yeah.
That's what. I have a question that you might know the answer to. Monty McNair wakes up one day and goes, I need Isaiah Stewart on this roster.
Okay.
Does he just pick up the phone and call the Pistons and go, hey, is Isaiah Stewart available? Or is it, hey, we'll give you X, Y, and Z for Isaiah Stewart? Or do you call around to agents and say, like, hey, is this guy available?
No, you don't go to agents. You go to the teams.
Got it. Okay.
You go to the teams. Like, you're not allowed to call somebody's agent and have that conversation. But the problem that you have at the NBA levels, there's so much overlap. So Zach LaVine is a clutch guy. And who's the other one that we were just talking about that Brandon Ingram is a clutch guy. Well, De'Aaron Fox and Trey Lyles are also clutch guys. So
sure, you don't want that getting back.
You can have a conversation about De'Aaron Fox, and in that conversation, someone could say, hey, just a FYI, where are you guys at with Brandon Ingram? Like, the Kings aren't allowed to initiate those conversations, but it's not like those conversations aren't had. Like, teams know who's available, and they know because there are more than one way to figure out without just calling a team and saying, hey, is so-and-so available?
I see.
Yeah, when you go to make a trade, then it becomes like a one-on-one conversation or, 2v2. Like, there can be an assistant GM who does a lot of the groundwork, and then it goes up to the next level, and then the general manager sort of puts finishing touches, says yes or no, then brings it to an ownership group and say, okay, what are we going to do here? And
that's what I was shocked to learn. You and I were talking to somebody pregame before a Kings game.
Okay.
I can't remember if it was this year or last year. We were talking to somebody, and they were telling us a story about a trade that had happened.
Okay.
And the amount of people involved in this story, in my brain, and it makes sense that it's not like this, but in my brain, here's how it goes. Monty McNair gets on the horn and he calls, who's the Pistons GM?
Oh man.
They just hired the dude, is a dude from Washington. Doesn't matter. Anyways, while you look that up.
Trajan Langdon.
Thank you. Monty McNair calls him and goes, hey, is Isaiah Stewart available? Or pick a player. And he goes, sure. And Monty McNair goes, okay, we'll give you X, Y, and Z. And that guy goes, okay, I'm going to have to think about it. Let me call you back. Okay, great. Guy calls back and says, how about X, Y, Z, and A? Monty McNair says, well, we can't do X, Y, Z, and A. What about X, Y, Z, and C? I guess, okay. And that goes back and forth, and it's just the two guys.
Okay.
That's how it goes in my head. But actually, that's not how it goes at all.
Sometimes it can go that way. But then the problem is that the agent is always informed that something is about to happen, which is how we got to like the conversation about DeMarcus Cousins the other day.
Yeah.
Where you made the call and then finally you called the agent and said, hey, we're about to trade DeMarcus to New Orleans. And his agent's like, no, you're not. And you're like, yes, we are. He's like, no, you're not. I'm going to block that. And you're like, what? So he called the Pelicans and said, "You're not trading for DeMarcus," and they're like, "We are." It's like, well, we're not signing there, and it's like, okay. So then the Pelicans call the Kings back and say, "Hey, he's not going to sign here." They're his agent saying he won't sign an extension, so we're not going to give up as much for him. So that's how it goes from 2 first-round picks and Buddy Hield to 1 first-round pick and 1 second-round pick and Buddy Hield for DeMarcus Cousins. And I think Tyreek Evans was like, there was other players involved in that to match salary. Yeah, I mean, it is complex.
Fascinating.
Hey, it's just like when we talk about like injury stuff. Like when a team sends out an injury report, that thing can go through like 15 different sets of hands. Like that goes to the GM, the assistant GM.
That's so crazy to me.
It goes to the business side. Well, like not the business side, but upper management, and then it gets into the agent for language, and the agent can say, "I want it to say procedure and not surgery," and you're like, "But it is a surgery. I don't care. I want it to say procedure." And so it goes back and it gets reworked. Like these are all things that happen. Like 7, 8 people can touch like an injury report, like update before it goes out.
Real quick, speaking of the injury report, I have an updated injury report for Kings Pelicans. No Kings news, nothing new.
Okay.
Devin Carter out, Isaiah Crawford and Mason Jones are both at the G League, and Trey Lyles is still out. Our guy Jeremiah Robinson Earl is out tonight.
Oh no,
with a non-COVID illness. But I do think it's interesting. You talk about like the injury report and it touching all these hands before it. The Pelicans specifically, Karlo Matkovic is listed as a low back spasm. If you go up to Jordan Hawkins, it's lumbar spine annular fissure. What?
We're not going
there.
The
specificity is crazy.
We're not going there.
Oh man. That's wild. I don't think I've ever seen something that specific before. It's usually like right heel inflammation, right knee bone bruise. These are some of the other things on there. Left rib contusion, right patella tendinopathy. That doesn't sound good.
No,
that's Jason Tatum.
Yeah, the NBA definitely like they get more into injuries. Like their injury reports are more like, well, they should be. For the most part, they're more concise.
Yeah.
Where like you go to like European soccer, it's like lower leg injury.
Yeah.
Muscle injury. You're like, what muscle? We're not telling you. It's a muscle injury. It's like, is it hamstring? Well, it could be.
Yeah, like, that's one of the muscles for sure.
We're not telling you. You're like,
that's like in the NFL. It's Nick Bosa is parentheses hip, oblique. What? Those are just what? Are they torn?
Oh,
are they bruised?
Yeah.
Are they a little torn? Did he sprain something in there? I don't.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Very odd.
Yeah.
Anyways, Trent Williams ankle. What about it?
Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3.
Is it fractured? Is it sprained?
Did it fall off?
I don't know.
Like I'm confused.
Speaking of the 49ers, here's some playoff scenarios for you. There's the one where they went out and the rest of the division doesn't get to 10-7 and they make the playoffs.
Okay.
I don't think that's realistic. Frankly, I don't think it's realistic that they go 9-8, but here we go. So the Niners need to beat the Rams. We've established that. The Niners play the Rams tonight at Levi Stadium. Isaac Orendo looks like he's going to play. Nick Bosa is questionable. It looks like Dre Greenlaw is going to return, although his role is TBD. My guess is he is the Sam linebacker. He's on the field for 14 or so plays. Then you have the Cardinals playing the Patriots. Because of the way all these tiebreakers go, the Niners need the Cardinals to win that game. That sounds reasonable, right? Just need the Cardinals to beat the Patriots at home, by the way.
Okay.
And then what's the last one? The Packers need to beat the Seahawks in Seattle.
That should happen.
I like their chances to do that. Although Seattle's playing a little better lately. I'm really interested in that game. That's a fun Sunday night game. Packers, Seahawks. At 9-4 against 8-5. Seattle trying to prove themselves as like a legit threat in the NFC and not just a product of being in a terrible division or a very mid division. That'll be a fun one. Also, we got Bills Lions this weekend. I did not realize that until yesterday.
Oh.
Salute to I don't know if Fox or CBS has that game. Salute to whoever has that game
That's
and keeping it
fun.
Yeah.
And it's not an evening game?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. That's good.
It's a 125 start. Yeah, Bucks Chargers a good game this weekend. Steelers Eagles a good game this weekend. Packers, a lot of good games this weekend.
Yeah. I'm here for it, Kyle.
Dolphins Texans might be fun.
Dolphins are still hanging in there.
Yeah, just sticking around. So that's what the Niners need this weekend. A Packers win, a Cardinals win, and a 49ers win. That keeps them in it. We go to next week. The Cardinals can beat the Panthers. In fact, you need the Cardinals to beat the Panthers.
Okay.
The Rams to beat the Jets. And the 49ers to beat the Dolphins. And the Vikings to beat the Seahawks.
Well, all that's possible.
All that sounds possible, right?
Okay, so wait, here's a question. Do they have to do the four-way tie? Is that the only way for the 49ers to get in?
Yeah. At least all the ways I've done the three-way tie, they don't.
Oh.
Or two-way tie.
Yeah, they don't. Well, could they get two-way tiebreakers over anyone?
I don't think so.
Even if they beat the Cardinals and even if they beat the Rams?
Yeah, because they split their head-to-heads.
Okay.
So it goes to a different tiebreaker.
Oh, okay.
Which they're not going to.
They're going to lose all those tiebreakers.
That Rams win over the Bills killed the Niners.
Yeah.
Then you go to week 17. You need the Cardinals to beat the Rams.
Okay.
I believe. You need the Cardinals to beat the Rams. The Niners can lose to the Lions. Niners lose the Lions.
Okay.
On Monday night. That's fine. And then you need the Seahawks to beat the Bears.
Beat the Bears, not lose to the Bears?
Maybe it's lose to the Bears.
Oh,
Maybe the Bears need to win that one.
This is too complex.
It's a lot.
It's too many things.
So this is it. But this is the point. I'm glad we got here. Because I'm not even going to go to week 18. Because this is the position the 49ers have put themselves in.
Yeah. I mean, we
can go week by week and we can look each week. But I don't even trust them to beat the Rams this week. And if they lose to the Rams this week, they're out.
Okay.
So they not only need to beat LA this weekend, tonight.
Yeah.
They need a million other things to go their way.
Okay. And the only other way that this could work out where they actually just outright win the division straight up, the only way that works out is if they beat the Lions. If they went out all of their games, their 4 games, they could conceivably win the division still.
Yeah,
there's
everybody
4
else
games left and they're 2
8.
games back, right? Or are they 3 games back?
2. 6 and 7 and the Seahawks are 8 and 5.
Okay. 6 and 7, 8 and 5.
I kind of don't like. The good news is, all of this is just like fun. It's just hey, it'd be kind of funny if this happened. But I think this season has been such a mess that whatever wholesale changes they need to make are going to be made, regardless of how the season goes. Even if they back in at 9-8 and then they win a playoff game, let's say they win on Wild Card Weekend, they host the Vikings, and oh wow, look, they upset the Vikings. The Niners probably be favored actually, which would be weird, but they upset the Vikings. I still don't think anybody's looking at this year going, wow, what a success. Like it's just a failure. It was a bad year. No matter how this thing, if they go on to win the Super Bowl, okay, we'll talk then. I wouldn't bet a nickel on that happening.
No.
So, however this season goes, in let's exist in the real world. However this season realistically ends is a failure. It's been a mess, and it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But there are changes that need to be made, and I think it's pretty clear. And I think those changes are coming regardless of what happens down the stretch here, whether they lose out or win out or split their Final Four or whatever it is.
Okay.
And that's going to be the important thing, because to me, this is now more about 2025 than 2024. You can get Nick Bosa back. Nick Bosa feels good enough to play. Okay, yeah, try and make a run, whatever. You owe it to Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk and all those dudes. But I'm not betting on it.
No.
Yeah. Also, here's the other thing I'm fascinated to watch tonight. I can't wait to see what happens with Deebo Samuel. After Deebo comes out this week and tweets, not struggling, I'm just not getting the ball, which like wrong, but okay. He is struggling in every conceivable facet. Pick a way that Deebo Samuel can be struggling, and he is. Drops, broken tackles, yards after catch, rushing yards, receiving yards, whatever it is, he's struggling. That's fine. I'm just really interested to see if it's a spam Deebo game where Shanahan's going, all right, you need more opportunities? Fine. Here's 8 carries and 7 targets. Go get it. Go have a Deebo game then. Or is it, hey, Shanahan saw that, Purdy saw that, and went, well, yeah, you're not getting opportunities. He's not very good, Doc.
Yeah. Well, I think it's on Purdy, it's on Shanahan to do what's best for the team, not what's best for Deebo.
Yeah, especially since he might not be around next year.
Yeah, just straight up. It's on them. Like if Juwan Jennings gives you a better opportunity down the seam, then hit Juwan Jennings. If Deebo Samuel is open and you can find him on a route that can score a touchdown, then give him the ball.
Yeah.
But I also don't think you need to do anything special here. Again, Kittle has been amazing.
Been incredible.
Feed him.
Yep.
Like as many passes you can throw to Kittle, hit him.
Juwan Jennings.
Hit him.
Cooking.
Hit him.
Isaac Orendo.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Especially out of the backfield, get him the ball.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So I'm not worried about it. Even, Ricky Pearsall hasn't had a bunch of catches in the last like 4 or 5 weeks, right? So
and he had targets.
Yeah, he hasn't had any targets at all. So I mean, if that's if someone that gets open, like just whatever it is that makes your team win. That's it. I don't care about somebody's, if he wants to cry about it, he can cry about it on some other team next season. That's it. Like
bottom line,
just go try to win the game.
I think we'll see maybe like a couple of screens for Deebo, like designed touches for him. You might see a screen, maybe 2 if the first one works, and maybe something creative with the run game. But he just hasn't been good enough to warrant, man, you need to manufacture Deebo touches.
Not at all.
He had 22 receiving yards as his highest output in his last 3 weeks.
Oof.
Like, he's not getting targets because he's not open. When he's open, okay, great. Yeah, he can still run a little bit. It's not like he lost his speed. He just doesn't break tackles anymore. And I'm with you, man. You have other players who are playing way too well to go, hey, we need to placate Deebo Samuel.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man. You can't get with the program. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, man.
So interested to watch that tonight because historically, Deebo's had some good games against the Rams. Also, speaking of wide receivers going up against each other, did you know? I did not know this until I read it at theramswire.com. Salute to my guy, Cam DeSilva. He does a great job. I did not realize that Cooper Kupp has not played in a game where the Rams have beat the 49ers since 2017.
Well, that's a long time. 7 years.
Yeah. And it was a while. There was a while there where the Rams just couldn't beat the 49ers. But last year, week 17, week 18, Cooper Kupp didn't play. This year, week 3, Cooper Kupp was out. And then a bunch of years before that, the 49ers hadn't, I should say, a regular season game. Cooper Kupp most definitely played in the NFC title game.
Yeah.
He killed the 49ers in that one. Yeah, hasn't won a regular season game against San Francisco since 2017.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't even realize that. It makes sense when you think about it, but just seeing it written down was nuts. All right. Keys to a Kings victory. How do they knock off the dreadful New Orleans Pelicans tonight? We'll talk about that. And we will have Mad Props. Jesse Tapia will be in the building. We have a Kings game tonight and a 49ers game tonight, which makes Mad Props nice and easy. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. You can play along on Mad Props as well. It's coming up next on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Center.
I should probably fire up this computer over here. We are both not Christmas caroling.
Hey, chatty ass. Whoa. Relax. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Somebody asked about Darnold or Purdy. I texted Faraz. I haven't gotten a text back. Sorry. I thought me and Faraz were tight like that. We're not. Man, Stroud or Purdy? I think that I don't know. It's really tough. Yeah.
Hello, friends.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah, man.
Oh, luncheon's getting delivered.
Yep. Who does Kansas City play?
Let's see, what do we got?
The Browns? Probably Pacheco.
Yeah, Walker's been beat up. Be a little leery on that.
Yeah, it's probably the move.
And not only has Walker been beat up, but Charbonnet's been sniping his touchdowns. But Kenneth is he's one of those guys that can bust out for a huge week and then you're going to regret it. Zach Charbonnet. They both have 7 rushing touchdowns. Impressive. But he hasn't had a very good season at all.
All right. I need to rant.
Uh-oh.
I have all right.
Yeah, I would probably go Pacheco because but their carries have been really split. That's what Faraz talked to us about last week.
All right.
I will check this out.
By the way, people asking fantasy questions right now. We'll have Faraz tomorrow. Yes. I won't be here. But Faraz will be here. Got to get an Elk Grove Honda.
Wow. What are we talking about up in here?
Here we go. All right, Jiffy Lube's the sponsor. He's James. I'm Kyle. The Kings play the Pelicans tonight. We'll have keys to victory here for you in a second, but I need to rant very quickly before we get into our Kings keys to victory, and it has nothing to do with tonight's game, but that's fine. This whole LeBron to Sacramento thing.
Mm-hmm.
Can we stop?
Well, I never started, Kyle.
So here's, if you missed it, an anonymous NBA executive who could be anyone. That could be literally any person who works in a front office. In an interview with Steve Bulpett who's a person I just learned about right now, on something called Heavy Sports. The anonymous NBA executive said, quote, "The one place that I don't hear a lot of talk about with LeBron is Sacramento. He could change them, and they might have the kind of assets to make a trade work. They have a lot of young talent, and because they're a small market, they haven't spent like drunken sailors. They have some draft picks and young talent. If they could get to the salary, LeBron would take Fox and Sabonis and elevate the hell out of them, particularly Fox. With that threesome, those guys would be a force." Breaking news, NBA executive thinks LeBron James would make team better.
Wow.
Thank you, anonymous NBA executive. You've changed my life.
I don't even want to get into any of the salary cap issues or anything else. I don't.
It's
not worth my time.
And this anonymous exec going, yeah, they got young talent, they got assets. They haven't spent like, dude, what? If they can get to the dollars, you're going to say this and you haven't figured out how to get to the dollars? You haven't taken that into account?
I mean,
anytime you can turn a team into the Lakers, you do it.
Yeah. I mean, he has a player option for next year.
Man.
At 52, but 48.7. Okay. You get there after January 15th. DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Kevin Huerter.
And then they're going to want picks.
And 2 picks.
But that they're going to want more than that.
Probably.
Like it.
No, I mean, like, okay.
I haven't heard a lot about that. Yeah, on purpose.
Yeah, like that's just not going to happen. Like that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, okay. Like I'll be there game 1 going,
sure.
I can't believe it happened.
Never say never, but come on.
Yeah.
It's not, I just want to be clear. If somebody just hears like, oh, LeBron in Sacramento, this is an anonymous NBA exec doing fantasy basketball.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what it sounds like.
If our guy Sam Amick or Shams Charania or somebody comes out and goes, yeah, hey, LeBron wants to play in Sacramento. Okay, great. Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But anonymous NBA exec saying, man, he'd be really nice alongside Fox and Sabonis. Yeah, he would. No doubt. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
But come on.
We're not going to play in that sort of like fan fiction stuff.
Like if there was a substantial report about it, then let's dive in. But anonymous exec thinking that Fox and Sabonis would benefit from playing alongside LeBron James. Okay, yeah. I agree. I totally agree.
I'm not doing the fake Luka trades to the Kings. I'm not doing Giannis Antetokounmpo fake trades to the Kings. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like we
won't even do Herb Jones fake trades.
Like even the Herb Jones is like, okay, like why do they trade Herb Jones? You tell me why they're going to trade Herb Jones. And like Herb Jones is cheap enough and young enough that he can go through an entire switch out here and still be a very, very good player on a very good contract at a perfect age to continue to build a team.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me why they would give him up.
If reports come out that they're shopping Herb Jones, then let's dive all the way in.
Yep, let's go.
Down with fantasy basketball in the fantasy basketball context.
That's right.
All right. What did Kings do a Keys victory against Herb Jones and the Pelicans?
That's right. Let's do it.
All right. Key number 1, James Ham.
Payback. This team went 6-0 against you last season.
Boy.
If you don't have a chip on your shoulder walking into this game, then I need to question your competitive spirit.
Yep.
Straight up.
That's it.
Competitive spirit. Who are you as a player? If you don't I don't play board games to lose. If you're not walking into this game ready to run this team over after what happened, this is a team that put you out of the play-in tournament and did not let you into the playoffs.
Yep.
It's the team that beat you, that put you into a situation where you had to be in the play-in. This is a team that mollywopped you 6 times, crushed you.
Yep.
They're beat up. Go out there and show them what it feels like to lose a game.
Mike Brown said De'Aaron Fox needs to find a thing every game that makes him angry.
Yep.
The Pelicans should. All of the Kings players.
You just look across, you see Pelicans or you see New Orleans, you should be
Or
angry.
Crescent City,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I don't know. While you're sitting there eating gumbo in New Orleans, you should be angry the whole time. I am angry right now. I'm going to go get a beignet, but I am angry.
I'm not happy about
I'm
this
going to-
beignet.
Angry eat this beignet.
No, it's delicious. All right. Number one for me, along those same lines, you got to get out to a fast start tonight. Just put them away early, man. And it goes to what you're saying. Come in pissed off and show it from the opening tip.
I agree 100%. This is a team that is teetering, and you just need to put them away early. And if you do that, it should be easy sailing.
Leads us to number 2.
Drop another 140.
Yeah.
This team can't defend and they can't score.
Makes it tough to win games.
They're like 28th in offense, 29th in defensive rating. They're getting outscored by their opponents by like ridiculous numbers. There's a team out there that's worse. They're called the Washington Wizards. But outside of that, no, this is the worst team in the league. And it's a lot because of injury. But those injuries are still there. And they are not going to be able to just magically become a good team. There is not going to be like a Willie Green moment where, he's crying and getting this team right back in the playoffs. This is a bad team this season.
Yep. I have nothing to add.
Punish them.
Except for this. Here's how you get to 140. It's my second key. Move the ball.
Oh.
When the Kings, under Mike Brown, when the Kings have 30-plus assists, they are 52-11. And that's a lot of teams. When you get to 30 assists, you're going to win a lot of your games.
Yep.
But when they have 29 or fewer assists under Mike Brown, they are 54-72. 29 or less, they are 54-72. 30 or more, 52-11. The Pelicans are the kind of team that you can start stacking up assists. Move the ball, run them out of the gym.
Yeah, that they don't even have a real bench to work with. So, like, when they go to their bench, just crush them.
Yes.
Like, get them in rotations. Just crush them. There's no reason to let this team hang around.
Nope. Number 3.
Kick a team when they're down. Like, straight up, like,
beat a dead horse.
Have that instinct in you that says, they're not good. I am going to run them over and let's play. Like, starters should be looking at this going, I want to play 28 minutes tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play 28 minutes because I want to leave the game at the end of the third quarter with us up 35.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Let's get there. Last one for me. Don't trade 2 for 3 in this game. Here's some notes about the Pelicans. They are 30th in the league in made threes. They are 28th in three-point attempt rate. So the percentage of their shots that are three-pointers, they are 28th.
Okay.
They're 26th in three-point percentage. I know some of those numbers are probably depressed a little bit because Herb Jones and Trey Murphy were out for so long. But they even still, they're not a team that puts up a ton of threes. And you shouldn't be losing the 3-point line in this one.
No, if you lose the 3-point line, it's because you let CJ McCollum turn into prime CJ and just you made a mistake.
Do whatever you can. If somebody gets hot from 3, shift everything you're doing defensively to shut that player down.
Shut off the faucet.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't care if they get a couple of layups because of it.
Yeah, they're not good at 3-point percentage. They're also
26th.
They take they're number 5 in 2-point attempts on the season.
Mm-hmm.
They're number 28 in 2-point field goal percentage. They're not good at. They shoot a lot of 2-pointers
and don't make many of them.
And they shoot 50.3%, and they give up 57.3%. They allow 7% better. You go to the Kings on that same exact stat. Same stat for the Kings. The Kings are right now so much better. The Kings 2-point field goal percentage, 57.7% 2-point field goal. They're 3rd in the league in 2-point field goal percentage.
My God.
And they're 10th in attempts. They're 10th in attempts. They're 3rd in 3-point and 2-point field goal makes. Yeah, just run this team off like out of the gym.
Sass in the chatty house asked, how many are the Kings losing by tonight?
Yeah.
I don't think they're losing tonight. I think they win 127-101.
Yeah, I'm going to go 134-95.
I like it.
I'm
run
literally
him out of the gym,
predicting
that's
a
all.
41-point blowout again.
I don't need. I don't, if you get there, awesome. I don't even need that. Just blow him out a little. And don't let it be close.
What I want to see,
be
Kyle,
in the same,
plant a Sacramento Kings flag at half court.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do that.
Do that. It might be a felony in some states, but it's not in New Orleans.
There are no laws in Louisiana. All right. He's James Ham. I'm Kyle Madsen. The Kings play the Pelicans tonight. Want to remind you that we will be back tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon on ESPN 1320, where the Insider, sponsored by Jiffy Lube, and we'll be breaking down that Kings-Pelicans game right here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports. Later. Oh, nope. There we go. All right. It's hard to push buttons and do this show all at one time.
I got it.
916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. We got Mad Props with Jesse Tapia coming up. But first, we've got our guy, Don, on the line. Don, you're live on the Insiders. What's up? Don, hello.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Kyle, hey, my bad, man. Y'all, what's up with it?
Hey, what's up? TC.
Hey, look, hey, yeah, what's up, bro? Hey, so look, that whole LeBron talk, bro, is crazy. I'm not even going to get into that. I was going to try to talk about that, bro, but as soon as you started talking Kyle and him, I said, you know what? I'm not even finna go down that route, bro.
My man, appreciate you.
That's right.
Appreciate you. The Niners winning tonight?
Talk about them, Kyle, him. But the Kings win tonight, bro. They need to get that big win tonight for sure. We need to steamroll these dudes and show them really just for our mental and our psyche. And then we can think about last year smashing them and all that. But we got to beat this team, blow them out for our psyche. You get me?
Yeah.
So
no
that's all I got. Go ahead. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Have a good day.
Appreciate the call, TC. Thanks, man. Yeah, man, the LeBron thing's silly. That's all.
I'm not going there, Kyle.
I won't either.
I didn't want to know.
Jesse, you want to go there? Jesse Tapia is here for the
handoff.
handoff. You're up. What's up?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm good off LeBron. Let the Lakers deal with that.
This guy gets it.
Yeah, we don't need that.
No.
All right.
You know what we do need?
Mad props.
Yeah, we sure do.
It's time for Mad Props. 2 games, 2 props. Which number will he hire? That's for Kyle and James to decide.
And
Here's
Jesse.
Mad Props.
All right, I don't like doing mad props when there's all the injury questions, but at least it sounds like Isaac Garendo is going to play, so I'm going to change one of these on the fly, if that's okay with you guys.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
Is it?
It's not like I really have a choice here, so.
I mean, I guess that's true.
Kyle's cheating, Jesse.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating.
It's the end of the
Come on.
season, damn near, and you're pulling this still.
All right. All right. Doing this on the fly. This may be a bad one, but let's see. All right. I feel good about this. One. All right. Number 1. We finally have a number 6, but we'll start with number 1, and we'll start with our guest, Jesse Tapia, who produces D-Lo and KC, which is the show that is coming up at noon, and they'll take you up to 4 o'clock right here on ESPN 1320 at Sacramento Sports Leader. Jesse Tapia, number 1. We're going with George Kittle receptions tonight against the Rams, or Keegan Murray 3-point attempts tonight against the Pelicans.
George Kittle receptions. I'm going to go George Kittle receptions on that one.
All right, James.
I'm with Jesse here. I'm going to go Kittle.
Not going to let Keegan Murray burn me again. No chance.
That's, I think, where I'm at. I really think that this is a game where you might see Keegan Murray, because the Kings are up a bunch and they're running, balls moving, and you see Keegan just have one of those games where he puts up like 10 threes.
Oh.
But I've been waiting for that
Mm-hmm.
for 6 weeks.
Keegan could put up like 8 threes tonight, but he also could put up 5 shots total.
Right. And that's what I am more inclined to believe, that we're going to get a game where Fox and Sabonis and everyone else cooks. And then you look at man, the Kings scored 138 points. What'd Keegan do? 2 of 8,
5 points.
1 of 4 from 3. Like, all right, that's fine.
I would like to see them feature him and let him get going against a bad team.
I would too.
But the
I don't
only
know.
thing I care about if I'm the Kings is winning the game.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say
Yep.
right now.
Straight up.
And I can't, you just can't rely on Keegan to have that breakout game at this point. If he does, awesome. I'm not banking on it. James, number 2. Brock Purdy pass attempts, or De'Aaron Fox points, rebounds, and assists.
Oh. I'm going to go Oh, I'm going to go De'Aaron Fox points, rebounds, assists. This is where De'Aaron Fox was born. He does have a lot of family in New Orleans. He does not buy those family members tickets because he doesn't do that. But
That's so funny.
this is like one of those places where he does like to perform well, and he looks at it sort of a home crowd. But yeah,
That's the move, man. Just like, hey, nobody's getting tickets.
And
You want to come? You want to come watch? You can pay.
hey,
Exactly. And nobody can be mad because they didn't
Because
get tickets or whatever.
Players don't get free tickets. I don't know if people know that. It comes out of their paycheck.
yeah, I
You
mean,
can go, I want 50 tickets.
yeah,
And all right, you're paying for 50 tickets.
they do get an allotment, but it's something like two tickets or 4 tickets, and then they can ask their friends in the locker room,
Right.
"Can I get a couple of tickets?"
Yeah.
But overall, it's not. Yeah,
And it's the Pelicans. What? You don't have $3 under the couch?
Great point. Brock Purdy pass attempts or De'Aaron Fox points, rebounds, assists.
I'm going to go Fox. I feel like that total number's going to be around like 38, 39.
Yeah, I think Purdy's going to throw it a lot tonight because even if Garendo plays, I don't know how healthy he is, and I don't think they want to lean on Patrick Taylor that much. So we might see Purdy put it in the air 34, 35 times, but De'Aaron might have 35 points by himself.
Yeah.
All right. Jesse, 49ers total points or DeMar DeRozan total points?
This one's the 49ers. I think they're gonna.
Wow.
I think they're gonna fight. Season's on the line today. They're gonna fight. I think they'll put up a decent amount of points today. I'm feeling 25 to 30. I think.
Okay.
I too am going. I think it'll be a shootout with the Rams, and I think we're looking at 35.
Yeah, I feel like the
30
Rams
plus.
are definitely putting up points. If the 49ers are gonna want to keep pace, like you're just gonna have to just go toe to toe with them.
Plus, I'm leading in Mad Prop, so I'm just going to match every one of Jesse's answers just to burn him.
Okay, we'll just do James first the rest of the way. I'm going DeMar. I think the Pelicans have some good defenders. I don't think they have the type of defender that can really hang with DeMar DeRozan in the mid post.
Makes sense.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going DeRozan points. James Ham, Debo Samuel touches or Kevin Huerter field goal attempts?
Oh, man. I'm going to say Kevin Huerter field goal attempts. I think he's probably going to have 12, and I don't think Debo can get there.
All right, this is not a bit, but I'm going Kevin Huerter too. I don't like Debo Samuel doing the whole tweeting thing while the team's fighting for their season life and all that. It doesn't work that way where Debo's going to get force fed now. Like, no, we just, Debo, I'm sorry, just deal with it. We're trying to win, keep our season alive. So I don't think anything's going to change.
What if I said Kevin Huerter field goal makes?
Oh, I still have a tough time.
Give me Debo Samuel touches, 5 touches, 6 touches right there, I guess.
I had 6 in my head. That's his average for
Yeah.
the season.
I'd go Debo Samuel on that.
Yeah, I could see Kevin still getting like 7 makes.
Yeah.
So that's a good question.
All right. James Ham, Ricky Pearsall targets or Domantas Sabonis 3-point attempts?
Dang, I know how Pearsall's way down. He had a good week of practice last week, but that didn't equate to a bunch of targets. You know what? I'm gonna go Sabonis. Sabonis threes.
Jesse,
I will go Ricky Pearsall.
that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, I think Sabonis maybe get 2 threes at most, maybe 1.
We both like Yves Messi a lot.
Yeah, I don't
The
think he
Pelican
wants.
center.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants smoke with Sabonis. I don't think Sabonis is going to have to do a ton of hanging around the 3-point line.
I think drawing him away from the basket though might be a thing.
It might be a 0-0 thing. No, they got to give Ricky Pearsall another target.
Okay.
You got to get him involved a little.
Make sure you get Juwan Jennings involved, though.
Yeah, that's big
Oh,
time.
Yeah.
That's big time for sure.
Just for the sake of my fantasy team. It's week 1 of the playoffs.
Last one, James. Isaac Garendo rushing yards or Kings first half total points?
Oh, I'm going Kings because I'm not sure Garendo's going to be able to hold up, and I think the Kings are going to put up 65 in the first half.
Okay.
We're going Grando total rushing yards and Kings first half points.
Yes.
Let me go. I'll go Garendo. I mean, just the fact that he's playing makes me feel like he's feeling all right. And you throw me, Kyle Madsen, or even James Ham back there, and you can probably rush for 80 yards.
That's where I'm leaning. Like it's about the ceiling for me on these. And 80 was actually about kind of the like, because I think the Kings are going to score a lot tonight. Like 70 to 80, I think 80 is a lot. 70 is like on the table for the Kings in this first half.
Yep.
And Garendo, though, could go for 120.
Yeah, because I don't think Guerrero's the type of player where it's like, yeah, we're gonna decoy you or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
no, he's playing or he's not. Just
Yeah.
get someone else in there.
If he breaks one long one,
Yeah.
I'm with
All right.
you.
that's mad
But-
props.
All right.
Yeah, but if he's banged up and he only has 8 carries in the first half, or 8 carries in the game or whatever, all right, that's mad props. I'll send you guys a screenshot so you can go over them tomorrow
Okay.
Sounds good.
because I'm out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not to brag. I'm going to Arizona.
There you go.
We did not spend a lot of time on the LeBron thing because I just don't.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. And
If you want to, okay, because if you want to, we don't have the time to, frankly, but if you want to logistically go, okay, what does it look like basketball wise? Let's just talk about it. Okay, well, first you got to remove all the dudes who are going in that trade
Mm-hmm.
before we get into what does the basketball look like with LeBron and Domas and De'Aaron Fox.
Well, it's a lot of dudes that have to leave.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes.
Yeah.
Like, just to get up, I mean, his salary's $49 million.
And they're going to want, and if he asks out, they're going to want good players.
Yeah, and you're going to have to get to 41, 42 million just because of the hard cap. So you don't have that much room to play with here.
So you're not even factoring in luxury tax here. You're just doing the hard cap.
Oh, no, you definitely would go on a luxury tax, most likely. But if not, you're going to have to give up, you're going to have to get to that number or close to it. I mean, probably 42, 43 million to avoid, it's probably 43.
Yikes, man.
Just to stay under the hard cap. And the other problem you have there is you're probably going to have to give up more because you're going to need to sign players afterwards.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right. Are you guys talking about that on D-Lo and KC today?
no, I'm actually looking at the rundown. That's not in there. Are you guys starting the show? Damien's out Christmas caroling. I don't know if KC's here.
I saw Damien.
Oh, you saw him?
Yeah, Damien
Oh,
pulled
okay.
up.
Okay.
All right.
We're good.
Very
Uh-oh.
good.
I was looking. Building's pretty empty. Yeah, everyone out
Yeah, I saw-
Christmas caroling
I
this
saw
morning.
Damien sauntering along.
All right, we're good
Yeah,
then.
we're good.
Yeah,
It's supposed to be lunch coming soon.
yeah, coming.
These guys tomorrow, Jesse and James, you guys are here. I'm gone. I'll be back Tuesday, but the Insiders are back tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Leader. Until then, drink water and be nice people. Bye.